Plus news station. This is Kron 4 News Weekend.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Kron 4 News Weekend. I'm Marty Gonzalez.
I'm Henry Tenenbaum. Isabel Duran has the day off.
Well, of course, we're commemorating Veterans Day today, and just coming up in a couple minutes, we're going to explain why the president is actually going to be absent from ceremonies in Washington. We'll have that story coming up. Also, Senator Dianne Feinstein going to be taking an aerial tour of the oil-damaged bay and coastline coming up this morning as well.
Okay, and we're going to be playing a card game here. So, and the flop here is a hedgehog seahorse, a atlas moth, and a pearly tree frog. This is called Xeko. Beautiful game, fascinating game.
Gorgeous artwork.
Which really works on helping kids to learn about ecology, to learn about animals, to learn about biodiversity. And they've got they do Madagascar, they do Indonesia, they do Costa Rica. They keep coming out with new games. What a great idea. So it's a sort of a collecting game, sort of a Pokemon kind of game. Okay, and then
well, coming up, it's a game to teach kids about the care and importance of our environment and the animals who live in it. Here's Henry.
Yeah, you know, usually I'm a little skeptical about, these games that are supposed to be educational and also fun. This one is. It's called, do you say Xeko or Xeko? I say Xeko. It's called Xeko, and it's kind of like Al Gore meets Pokemon. I'll show you what we're talking about coming up on Kron 4 News Weekend. Welcome back. I'll see you a Western Tarsus and raise you one Javan Trogan, I guess it is. These are cards in a game called Xeko. Xeko is, well, why don't you explain it?
Sure.
I'm hard-pressed.
Yeah, Xeko is an eco-adventure game for kids that's, we like to say it's wildly fun, safe, and very popular. And now, I was saying I am always a little bit skeptical about games that are supposed to be educational or supposed to help kids. This one seems to actually have worked. It's a Pokemon kind of a game? It's been called Pokemon with a purpose, and kids love to collect, and they love animals, and so we found that they just get into the game immediately.
But this isn't, these cards are not just decoration. I mean, the different animals that it portrays actually make a difference in terms of how you play the game, right?
Oh, absolutely, yes. There's
so can you give me a for instance, like for example, I've got here a let me see. Oh, actually, I just got one of these, they like the old cards that used to have the bubble gum in them before your time. Yep. These don't have bubble gums. Let's see what I got here. I got a Nicobar megapode, ladies and gentlemen. So now, what do I do with this Nicobar megapode, which is easily the ugliest bird on earth?
Oh.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I know he has a mother, too.
He's got big feet.
Yes, he does. So what is the difference? How would you use this card?
Right, okay, so the megapode is very cool. He has blue links. Those colors on the edges are called links. And in the Xeko game, you collect your cards to build your own deck, and you play with friends. And you need to have biodiversity in there. So you have to have some blue links and some yellow links. So the pit viper, he's a little higher up on the food chain. He might eat the megapode. Ooh.
Boy, I got a great bunch here. What was this?
Yeah, you did. Ouch.
Reef destruction.
Ouch. Yeah.
And but I did get an ashy tailbird.
Ashy tailbird is
so
beautiful.
Each one of these has a different purpose in the game, and the object ends up being.
The object is to get the most eco points. Yep.
Okay, and. Do kids actually learn? I mean, that's ultimately the point. I know you're almost sold out on many of these games, so obviously it's selling, but do they actually pick up information?
Oh, absolutely. We get letters from kids and from parents, and there's one, there's a great blog of a mom it was great. Her 9-year-old daughter was teaching the 6-year-old son, and the 6-year-old son said, "Mom, why are these animals in danger?" And the daughter said, "Oh no, stupid, they're not in danger, they're endangered." And it was just, I framed that email. It's one of the most beautiful things.
You invented this game. Can you explain to us how you came up with this?
Right, wow. Well, I wanted to do something that was fun and made a difference, and I am very interested in conservation, and it's a big part to solving our problems with global warming.
But there are thousands of people on Earth who have that background.
True.
And you know, coming up with a game is a whole different thing. How did you develop this? What's your expertise?
Right. Well, so I have a publishing background, and one of my clients was Nintendo, so I worked on Pokemon.
Oh,
and I was familiar with that game.
So you've really turned this into quite an industry here. 3 different countries.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah,
I
far.
was kidding Amy that, in fact, what she did is she picked the country she most wanted to travel to deduct from her taxes. But you've got the 3 are?
The 3 are Madagascar, Costa Rica, and Indonesia. And there are 34 total that we'll do.
Right. And so, I mean, typically, is it kids? I never played Pokemon, so I'm sorry. But, I mean, I've got these batch of cards, and you have another batch of cards.
Right. I've got my cards.
Okay, and so I go, here's my ashy tailbird, and you say...
Well, and then I could connect to your ashy tailbird like
so
that.
The blue,
we match the colors.
See. So every edge matches. But does it matter that does it matter I have an ashy tailbird, or does it just matter that I have a blue link on the side there? How does that matter?
It matters both because the animals have energy and they have eco points. And so you can, when we connect to each other, we might have, we call them turf wars, and you could win every turf war in the game and still lose, because what we want is kids to really think about the eco points.
Right. And the cards are actually directly proportional to the diversity, or not the diversity, but the population of that animal.
Yes.
Like
so
an endangered animal.
Exactly. So the more endangered the animal, the fewer cards there are available.
Right.
Yeah.
And you don't mention it in the rules, but biodiversity apparently is sort of a requirement for winning. Is that right?
It helps in your deck strategy, yeah. So you want to have a deck that has insects and birds and mammals, and the more biodiverse your deck is, the stronger it's going to be.
One danger in this game, and I must tell you, I haven't played the game, but it looks to me like it would be a hoot. And just having gone through the cards, getting ready for this, I have learned more about some of the most bizarre and interesting animals. I mean, they're really some wonderful, wonderful animals. The Nicobar megapode actually is an interesting species, and it does have huge feet. And the artwork, who did all the artwork?
Well, we have about a dozen artists. Our lead artist is Michel Gagne, who's phenomenal.
Michel.
Yeah, of course. Good, but of course, Michel Gagne. No, he's brilliant. And we also have an incredible game designer, Tyler Billman. Just an incredible team of people working on this.
So let's tell folks where they can find the game at Xeko.com, and it's Xeko, not CO. It took me a while to find your website because I misspelled it. And you can also find Amy at the Green Festival, which is taking place today. Big, huge event, fabulous event with all kinds of different speakers and a variety of different booths, including games. And that's at the Concourse Exhibition Center, the information on your screen there. So let's see, I've got a pearly tree frog.
I've got a Western tarsier. You want to trade? This guy's pretty cool.
I'll trade you.
Okay.
Marty, can I interest you in an acropora?
I have one. Thanks, Henry.
Okay. Did it hurt?
Love it.
Thanks a lot. Looks like an interesting game. I have one quick question for you. What's the price of the game?
Oh, good question.
Oh, right. Madagascar is $20 for the starter set. Costa Rica and Indonesia are both $30.
This is like your boxed
That's
fancy.
right. This is how you learn how to play. And then you collect all the cards with these little booster packs, and they're $4 a piece.
Wow.
Okay.
And there's no gum in there.
There's no gum. No.
That could be a blessing, Henry. The fact that there's no gum. All right. Thanks a lot. Well, the Bay Area